Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the Opioid Abatement Committee. It's April the 23rd at 5:30 at the County Administration Building. I'd like to start with an invocation. And Danny, would you like to pray for us, please?
Sure. Father, thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us, Lord, and this past week as we celebrated your resurrection, Lord. As we go into this week and this meeting tonight, Lord, we pray that you continue just to help us to be about your business as we meet and discuss, and that we make good decisions for the citizens of our county. Pray that you would be with everyone here, that you would bless our families, Lord. Forgive us where we fail and fall short. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. You want to just stand for the pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition, approval of the agenda first, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now we're going to do recognition of the public. First person is Josh Draper.
Josh Draper, 1015 Lake Road, Westmoreland. This is going to be very brief, but I just wanted to say on behalf of the coalition, and also as a Recovery Corps graduate, thank y'all, everybody who was in attendance the other night for the full commission meeting, and thank you. I appreciate you guys believing in what we do, and just kind of as an update, a couple of things. On the Recovery Corps side, I wanted to share this with you. So we have our rodeo coming up. That's our big fundraiser we do every year. Well, one of our sponsors this year is a former Recovery Corps graduate. They graduated around the same time I did, and she's one of our biggest sponsors this year. She has her own business now and is actually employing young women who are also in recovery. And so just a cool little story that kind of keeps on giving and everything. But also, so I wanted to share this with you because I was looking at some of the overdose data that came out recently. And since this body started, and I'm not saying this is the sole reason or anything, but the state of Tennessee in the last 3 years, the overdose fatality rates have dropped about 5 to 6%. In Sumner County, they have dropped almost 27%.
Wow.
So there's a few things that factor into that, obviously, but I just wanted you guys to know that your efforts are not going unappreciated, and they're actually, making a difference in the community. So just wanted to say thank you, and anything else we can do to help, reach out to us.
Thank you. Ron Blanton. Judge Blanton.
Ron Blanton, 155 East Main Street here in Gallatin. I wanted to also echo what Josh said about appreciate everybody's vote on Monday night approving us to get that area. There was some issues that were brought up at the meeting, and I wanted to just kind of clarify that for this commission, for this committee. I think there were some issues that were brought to light. I did a presentation to this committee as well as the joint with the General Ops Committee. I didn't put that together. I don't have time to do that. That's not my forte. My job is to be judge. I relied heavily on my Recovery Court and Recovery Court Foundation. This is the original blueprint that was done for us. At some point in time, somebody asked, other than Recovery Court, myself, or anybody in Recovery Court Foundation, they wanted a schematic and did not ask us. They asked another branch of government to shade in what Recovery Court needed and what was not used for Recovery Court. And they did not follow this original, whoever shaded it. I don't know who did. It wasn't anybody in our, but what they shaded was not what we had asked for originally. The difference is one office, but please understand when I say this office, the office is functional now. It was not any monies used for that. We'll put our own furniture in there. It's not costing any additional funds. And I've talked with the sheriff about this, and it was from day one, but they did not shade that area in. And I apologize that I didn't catch it. That's on me. The other thing is, in talking with the sheriff, overall, when you look at this blueprint, they had put separate walls, new walls in that are really not necessary. And it would really be beneficial if we could just go there and let somebody show you instead of trying to look off of a blueprint. But down this hall, if you look at this from this perspective, this is the entranceway into Judge McCormick's old courtroom. This is the back hallway that we're talking about. On the other side of this courtroom, there is a long hallway that leads to an outside door. That's a secured area. On the other end of that hallway is a secured door that leads to where the prisoners are. And it's crucial and that's one of the reasons we wanted to keep the recovery court there in that building. It's crucial for us to be able to get the inmates to recovery court in a secure fashion, secure manner. This door is actually on the other side of this wall that leads outside. There is no door here. The original plans called for a door here when it was originally built, and then they determined that the door is actually here for this classroom, and this is a solid wall here. We don't need a second door for this classroom. All I'm asking is whoever did the shaded area, cut us off from this wall over with no access back here, which was never the intent. And I don't know if it looks like on that original, the secondary picture, it has that cut out. All I was asking for everybody's safety is instead of the wall being put here all the way across, is merely move it here on the other side to where we could get the inmates brought into the secured area into this classroom so we could do the evaluations. Those doors are already there. This was an additional wall. All I'm asking is for that was asking for was the wall to be built down here so it would all be secured. There's nothing different other than that wall being moved from here to here with a door on it. That was the only thing that I was asking for the other night, and I wanted to clarify that. I don't know who shaded this area in. They did it without our permission, and I didn't catch that because they said they send the blueprint over. They sent the blueprint over as we understood it. It was plugged in. It was plugged in about 5 minutes before I walked into this because I didn't get off the bench until picked up the packet and walked over here. So I wanted to clarify that for the group. There's been a lot of talk and discussion. I want to make sure that we're all on the same team. We're all trying to accomplish the same thing. A building that's just sitting there for over a year is deteriorating if we don't do something to get it. And that's a valuable space that we can use. I'm just asking to be able to use the money to do the inside. Yes, we're going to bring some of our own furnitures. And we have skilled craftsmen who have graduated from the program like Josh has talked about that would love to donate their services to help us build this thing out if the money is not all there. I'm more concerned about getting into space. There's carpet in these offices that are not terrible. It's not like we have to come in and rip everything off. And all these offices that are already there, they were functioning a year ago quite well. And there's no reason why we can't just move their offices so that they can go ahead, even while they're doing the other construction on the building, that they can't move in down there and already start working in a facility that's already ready to go. So we're really not asking, when it came up Monday night, it just kind of took legs on itself. I just wanted to be clear that I was not asking for any major change in this blueprint. The wall, whoever drew this and sent it in, the wall they didn't talk to anybody that's going to use the area. The wall just needed to be moved down the hall to make sure that we had access to that room so that inmates could be secure. If not, then they can go right out the door because there's a door at the end of that hallway that lays right outside, and we don't want that. That's why we wanted that wall put in that specific area in the hallway. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're now moving to approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Only one, that's the February meeting?
I didn't get them.
Just for the March. We have a second on approving. Second.
All All in
Commissioner
favor?
Boyd?
I got one.
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
So,
I apologize, Chairman. May I apologize for being late? I was at a library
No,
board meeting.
you're good.
Thank you.
We knew you were.
It's just another agenda, it's not minutes.
Huh?
I just got two agendas, I didn't get a minutes. I thought that's what
Oh,
we were
that's
doing.
all we got, yeah.
This is,
Yeah, that's what, one of them should be minutes and one of them should be an
this is
agenda.
March 13th, this one's April 23rd.
Yeah, see, it says unanimous approved, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's see. Report of the committee chairman. The only thing I need to report, and you already, the guests here tonight already spoke about how I want to thank everyone, number one, for the approval, because I think we're moving milestones, and I think we're doing a great job, and we will make a great impact on our community and our county. Like you said, we're already seeing overdoses with all the efforts coming down, and that's a big deal. So that's my, that's the only report I have, is that everyone's doing such a wonderful job, and I know that the citizens will always appreciate that. So, next, we have the report of the grant accountant.
So looking at everything that is going on, number one, the bylaws and how we're going to operate in the future is currently being reviewed and drafted. That should be before you all next month. The goal is to have it before the Legislative Commission starting after the new fiscal year. Number two, OD Maps is live. If you want to see what it looks like for our county and the United States as a whole, you can stop by the office. Due to HIPAA and additional laws, I cannot show it during the meeting, but you are more than welcome to stop by and I'll show you what it looks like.
Can you rewind? So you said it should come before bylaws, before this committee next month, and then the plan is to start operating in the next budget year?
We would present it, and then when it comes time, legislative would have to vote on it, commission would have to vote on it, committees would have to vote on it. Those two would have to do it. And then when it's time to reappoint everybody, that's when hopefully it would go into effect.
Got it.
That is when I talked to Settler about it. He said that is the time frame we should be working under.
Okay.
So that's where we are.
So the bylaws for this committee will come to who first?
You all.
Oh,
You all will
okay,
see
good,
it next
good,
month.
okay.
That is the
Okay.
goal.
So you're writing them, or are we pulling them somewhere else?
We're pulling them from other places. I've reached out to some of our counterparts, Houston County, Marshall County, Wilson, and a few others to ask how they're operating. And so I'm compiling all that information. So you will have a presentation come May.
And we'll see all of theirs?
You will see what they're operating under and what is being proposed, and you all can make changes at that point in time. The goal is to get it to you all before the meeting, so that way you will have it to review, much like the grant applications, so you can come in and make informed decisions.
So that's Houston, Marshall, and which other?
Wilson County,
And Wilson?
yes.
And it has to go through committee on committees?
Because we're going to become an independent committee, so they are involved at some point in time.
Okay.
The next one is the hospital did offer the position. We have a gentleman that is working as a navigator there. So you all are aware, from January 1st to March 31st, there have been 14 EMS runs to High Point Health. However, there's been a total of 41 overdoses that High Point Health has seen in the emergency department. So they're having more people dropped off than taking the ambulances at this point in time. So,
Those are 41 deaths.
41 overdoses, not deaths.
Got it.
Do we know how many of those were issued Narcan, like on the way or before they got there?
I can get you the information on the 14, but regarding the 41, we don't have access to that information. I'm blocked on that one.
Yeah.
Right now, so you all are aware, invoice number 3, that is now in our system. And looking at it, this is the invoices 1 through 2. We're still working through the rest of them. So you all can see what we're getting. Invoice number 3, Neighborhood Health Salvage still has not requested reimbursement at this time. They did request to have an emergency medical kit, which the county commission approved, that has the AEDs, naloxone, and stop bleed kits. Finance's response back to them is we needed a year-end projection to show that they could afford to approve it and that they had the funds available under the grant funds. So we're still working with them. Recovery Court not-for-profits, they were already told that they could do it because the funds are available, so they are in the process of purchasing those pieces of equipment, and they will be forth and doing good. The last one that is on my list is University of Tennessee has reached out to Sumner County and has requested us to speak at their Middle Tennessee meeting. The State Opioid Abatement Council right now is noticing that a lot of the counties have not obligated all their funds. The funds had to be obligated by the end of this month. So they're giving them extensions. However, because Sumner County has been forward thinking as far as capital projects and actually putting in infrastructure, as well as working with not-for-profits, they want to showcase us and show some of the things that we are thinking about. So that date has not been determined yet, but as soon as everything is in place, you all will be receiving an invitation to that meeting. And for that, oh, sorry. I have one more thing to pass out. In case you did not get it in the news, sorry, Jessica. Here is the Gallatin News where they actually mentioned the opioid committee and how we were looking at long-term projects. And so that is your copy as well, since we were on the front page.
I was very confused. I was like, I
I
don't
was
know.
I was like, I don't see Dustin. That's what I was saying. He would be taller than everybody.
Yes, Commissioner Boyd.
So one of the items you mentioned was that there were more drop-offs than ambulance runs.
Correct.
And we commissioners got an email 3 or 4, you want to address it?
Yeah. So we got an email from a resident about the opioid shooting situation in Gallatin, like last week. And it was a party, and this person went through a litany of that, you know, they called EMS as a Samaritan, and that's then led to EMS contacting, the police came next, then that led to them searching the house, and it was just a litany of things. And so they were saying, well, nobody's gonna call anymore, they're just gonna, people are gonna die, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think that's out of anger, and that's out of just, you know, emotion. I still think people are gonna call. I do think people do drop people off because they're at a party, or they don't want people to know, or they're somewhere together, and they take the person to the ER. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to call 911 every time. But that's what that email addressed. A person's, now it was a Tallahassee phone number, because I'm familiar with that phone number, and the person that emailed that was their phone number. So they were from out of town, apparently, or maybe they lived here and didn't change their number. I don't know, but the email inferred that people were going to die because when EMS comes and they call the police, well then, you know, one thing led to the other. Well, I know the backstory of all that because I know the people that were involved, and I don't think that's probably going to happen. So, can you talk about that, sure?
No,
No, okay, I didn't think so.
it's an active prosecution, I can't.
Yeah, but anyway, that was an inference in an email, and I didn't answer it because I knew it was an emotional email, and I understand what Commissioner Boyd's talking about, but yeah, that's.
And I just wanted to make sure it didn't correlate with the more drop-offs, or if it does in the future. And I don't know if you were in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should make sure in the future, since I don't think we'll get any. Thank you.
I think that, you know, all the emergency centers have the capability of, when someone's brought in, even if it's a fast track, to help reverse things. Of course, those fast tracks are gonna give them the option of calling 911, you know, to do that unless they can't get them responding, you know, they'll call EMS anyway. So there are a lot of places that they may go to get help, that we're not capturing. But, there's, in my opinion, there's more of that going. 44 is not, I think there's a lot more. But I think our biggest thing is educating people about Narcan and getting them help. You know, that's the biggest thing, so. Pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I just thought that, I mean, it directly deals with what we deal with, and
Right.
so.
So it was just,
I agree with Commissioner Boyd, when you said 14 ambulance and 41 drop-offs, first thing I thought was how many people are afraid of being prosecuted. I know, I had a kid, I'll just tell y'all this, because I feel chatty, and I'm never chatty. I had a kid who liked to climb in the cabinets. So one time, so in a period of 3 weeks, he, and he could get child-proof locks off. He licked the top of the gasoline can, and then he ate some Benadryl, and then he drank some other. So the third time, I was so afraid to call the poison control because I didn't want children's services coming to take all my kids away. So I appreciate that people are afraid, and he's healthy. And he'll be 20 in June. He's my youngest. Well, I'm just saying, I appreciate that people would be afraid, but for the viewing public, what typically does happen if kids are out and somebody ODs and they panic and they take their friend to the ER? Are you allowed to say what normally would happen?
If they panicked and took their friend to the ER, unless the ER called us, we would never know.
So does the ER call?
no.
No.
Oh, well, I don't know. I am not a drug addict.
Private.
I've never OD'd
Yeah, no.
on anything but cold medicine.
There's HIPAA violations and all that if you do
Would,
that.
if they call 911, does the sheriff get
You
involved?
capture it.
Oh, okay. So that's why I have
The
the
drop-offs
41
do not.
versus-
The-
Okay.
And I could tell you a lot of people, I can't say a lot of people. Some people may not call if they're in a neighborhood and they don't want their neighbors to know that somebody OD'd at their house because they don't want that stigma. So there's a lot of reasons for all that, but I don't think in the scheme, I mean, we're capturing what the ER gets and EMS and things like that, but I don't, in my mind, from what I see in practice, I don't think we capture all of it. You know, there's a lot more.
Have we placed any vending machines in Sumner County yet?
So Sumner County has 2 that's furnished by the state through another not-for-profit. This board approved 2. One is going live next month, and the other one is contingent upon whether or not they will be relocating to a new facility.
So the first one going live, will it be a Sumner Regional?
The first one that is going live will be volunteer behavioral health. That will be the first one.
Will that be advertised anywhere?
They'll be advertised. They're also looking at doing an open house. Volunteer Behavioral Health has recently remodeled. They have the partnership, of course, with High Point Health, the Prevention Coalition. There's another partnership that you'll find out momentarily about. And so they're willing to be hosting an open house, showing their new facilities, and that will be one of the caveats that will be addressed.
Do they work with the Navigator at
They-
High Point?
They do work with the Navigator at High Point, yes.
Thank you.
How much, the vending machines, they still have to pay, right? They pay for it, is it free? Or
It's
how-
free.
So what keeps someone from, I guess someone who's actively using, going up there and just getting 10 of them or 15 of them?
So right now, when we are having discussions with those entities, they will not be fully stocked. So that way you don't have to worry about the whole supply going out overnight. What Smart Initiative has stated when they've had one in another county over in East Tennessee, they cited the health because they were afraid that somebody would come in. There was a video camera on it just for protection services, and they actually showed a truck come through, grab the Narcan, administer it to somebody in the back, and they drove off. They can tell the license plate that they had a success story. So that's what they're highlighting.
Well, I just saw another county that put a vending machine out there and somebody went and took all of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you go to Walgreens, they're 50
$50.
And so that's what I was wondering, if they have to pay, if it's free, which is, it's good that it's free, but what it's gonna be in place to keep someone from going and taking 100 of them and so they can hand out to their friends and family.
But right now, no, they're not gonna be fully stocking it.
So will they put 10 in?
I will have to check with Volunteer Behavioral Health with Haley. When we discussed it this morning with High Point Health, since they do manage our naloxone, right now they are looking at a small dosage, but they are looking to get the dimensions first of which of the boxes they needed to put in there because it will dispense the boxes out. And so based upon that, they're going to make their request. The request then goes in front of Hal Hendricks in the health department as a check to make sure that it's not being over requested. And if he feels comfortable with it, then High Point Health will then purchase it and place the charge against what we've given them. So that's the.
It's coming.
It's coming, but right now it's a slow process. But yes. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Old business, status of the recovery court application project?
So for the status of the recovery court application project, right now I'm not asking for a vote. Judge Blanton has requested funds also from the budget committee, and his meeting with them, is it 29th or 30th?
It'll be next week.
Do you know which day?
One of
I
us.
mean, it'll be one of them. I think it's.
Okay.
30th.
Yeah.
So next Wednesday at 2 o'clock is his meeting.
Fat one.
Turkey sandwich day.
So looking at it, they'll be looking to see if they want to fund it through maybe capital or through our funds. So there will be no decision at this point in time for you all to make. It's just exploratory, and we will be requesting this to be kept on old business. You will hear momentarily about an accounting procedure that is recommended to be done. If you all pursue it, there's no change in the dollar amounts. It gives Judge Blanton a few extra days on his project that, because right now we are discussing it and we have received the check, the time is ticking. So by swapping the checks out, he'll have more time to do what needs to be done should they need to use opioid funds. So it's an accounting procedure.
I have a question, Madam Chair. And,
Yeah, sure.
going back to the discussion that was held Monday night,
Yes.
and your explanation, Judge, on what you needed and what was taken out, and what you just said. Is there anything that we need to do to make sure that the building plans are like they want them?
Not at this time. Talking with legal today, because Gen Ops has appropriated the site areas, their intent is when it comes time to sit down and actually talk about it, they're willing to bring all parties to the table and sit down and go over the maps and make sure everything is fine before anything else is done. So that is where they are slowly headed.
Okay.
So my question is.
Yes.
Next week, some of us will be in here and it'll come to budget. And what the rest of the budget people want to know is, well, does opioid have the money? Is opioid gonna do it? Or, I mean, everybody wants more money. So are we thinking it's going to go over to budget and budget's just gonna decide? Or are we this committee? Because I'm in that committee
Me too. So right now, the game plan is that you'll be putting on your budget hat and you will listen to Judge Blanton. You'll be looking to see what the capital project is. In May, you'll be hearing me come back and say, this is where we are headed. If you want to vote to move the funds towards capital, then we need to let Commissioner Schoaf know at this point in time, and then we will continue to proceed that way.
Do we have other uses for this money? We have a finite amount of money.
Correct.
So, it's where we put the money. So
So-
when we get there, I just want to get it from you because at budget, we don't know.
So at capital, if you all, being
Yeah.
budget committee, says we don't want opioid funds, we want Blanton to have capital dollars, same dollar amount, but to have capital.
All we want in budget is more money to give out. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We really.
So if you decide to give him just capital, then that frees up 5 $100,000 grant applications to be put out. However, if you decide in your infinite wisdom to give it from opioid funds, then that leaves capital dollars in the other pots to hand out for other capital projects.
Yes.
So that's where we are headed.
So do you have other projects that might fall in line for you?
That would be a question you would have to ask Director Loin, because I have not seen the capital request.
Go ahead.
Why would we not just use the opioid funds for the recovery court
Since we could.
remodel, since we can, and we have restricted uses for that, and we don't have restricted uses for all the other capital funds?
I agree with that statement. However, the option is there because of everything that is going on. There's no guarantee. Also, the contingency is right now a little bit smaller, so I don't know exactly what Judge Blanton is going to present to them, but it gives them the opportunity to have that discussion for them
What do you mean in contingencies?
in case it goes over budget. Because right now, as we have just said, we have a finite dollar amount. I don't have any more money to hand out. If you all wanted to, I would say no, we have no more money. So if there's a contingency portion, then that would allow him to say, I would like to request a potential contingency. If opioids will give me $500,000, that gives him that opportunity to say, look, they're going to consider it $500,000. If they do, I may need a contingency of X amount from you all. That leaves the door open for him
From budget.
from budget.
Can I make a motion to suspend the rules and ask Judge Blanton the question?
I'll second it.
All approved? Okay, sir.
I was asked by our grant administrator here to put that $600 and whatever $1,000 into a budget committee in case you all did not approve this money. I talked to Commissioner Schoaf last week and said, I've got money I'm asking for from opioid. They've asked me to put it in the budget, and he told me, why would we ever spend $1 of capital out of the budget committee if it's sitting there in opioid? And so he's like, I'm not going to give you any money or suggest we give you any money out of the capital funds when we've got this amount of money already set aside in opioid. It doesn't make any sense. And so, I'll do whatever I'll wait as long as I have to get this money to build it out. I just don't understand why we're dragging our feet. But please excuse me, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but my God, we've been sitting on this money forever. And here's what I hear. I hear the grant administrator said there's really not any certainty about whether we're going to get additional monies or not. But then I sit in the commission meeting on Monday night and I hear time and time again, we're going to get this money for 20 years, and nobody calls anybody out on that. So either we're going to get this money for 20 years, and I can come back next year and say, we're going to be short about $80,000. Can I get $80,000 more out of the Opioid Abatement Committee? Or we're not going to have the money. One or the other.
I can.
So please, somebody shed some light somewhere.
Thank you. We have granted you $500,000.
Correct.
That's correct. And that money was to be used for recovery court. The statement that was made Monday night was incorrect. We don't have funds forever. You can't guarantee.
Then why didn't somebody say we don't? Because everybody out there thinks that we have money for 20 years. Matt Schoaf has even said, we got this money for 20 years when I talked to him.
Did say
So
that.
why doesn't somebody stand up and say, we don't have this money for 20 years? Because everybody else thinks that we've got this money. And we either do or we don't.
Commissioner Boyd, you can shed light on that budget, right?
So, yeah, I'd be glad to take up this item on budget. And I have done this with ARPA also, because with ARPA, we also had restrictions, and we were able to, I was able to explain it at budget, and we were able to use it for more ambulances and stuff. And I'll make sure that I will take, so as far as a lot of people do believe that we're gonna have the money for 20 years.
That's what was said and talked about openly in the commission meeting Monday night.
It is contingent. I mean, we have a flow of money, but, it can always drop off as these people go bankrupt, and we expect it to happen.
Then somebody needs to say that when somebody says we're gonna have 20 years worth of this money. I'm sorry, but you're talking about transparency in this commission, then be transparent and say, that's not necessarily true. We may not have it for 20 years. We may lose it after next year. So either we got it or we don't.
And it wasn't the only non-truth going on, it was a bunch of politicians. I do have a question about
May I address something?
He's
the
next.
cost.
To piggyback what off Judge Blanton has said, I'm passing this out so everybody has it and you can all see where we're coming from. Here you go, Judge.
Thank you.
Because I know you want it.
But I do promise I will take care of this issue in budget, and I agree with Sheriff Craddock with the restrictions and stuff.
So as noted, we had $500,000 that was set aside. Recovery Court, Inc. gave, got $132,000, so we have $632,000. As noted, there's no more additional funds at this point in time based upon the current plan unless you all change it. So looking at it, if it goes over that dollar amount, we don't have any. Regarding the funds and the status, if you're looking at creating the projections, the last sentence, there is no guarantee that these projections, oh, I'm about to go into that in a second. There's no guarantee that these projections will equal the actual payment accounts. So the document that you have in your hand is from the Opioid Abatement Trust Fund. And what they've done is they have taken the information and they have projected how much they think we're going to get. We started off this time last year stating that we were going to get $981,000. We got it. But as you can see, next year in April, we're no longer at the $900,000 stage. We are now almost half at $500,000. So it is slowly decreasing over time. Thank you. $595. And then it will go down the next year to $521.
And then up.
Then up, contingent upon what they think we're going to get from the national settlements. But the money is not where it's going to be this time in the next 15 years.
No one truly.
Right. Correct.
So Dustin, thank you
Yes.
for sharing that. I
You're
just
welcome.
wish that was made to the entire commission, because a lot of people on the commission think that we're getting this money for 20 years, and that may not be true.
That is correct,
Thank you.
yes. You're welcome.
So,
Yes.
my question for the judge was, when we walked through with the county engineer and kind of showed him what we wanted to do and told him how to estimate it, we told him to estimate on the high end, right?
Correct.
So we think there's a very low probability that there's gonna need to be contingency.
I don't know that we're gonna need any additional monies whatsoever. As I told this commission, or this committee the last time I met with you, I don't want to nickel and dime you to death. I only want to come one time, and I asked them to bid it on the high end instead of the low end. And I did that because I do have the availability of skilled craftspeople who've gone through this program, who will be more than happy to come in if there's something that we need to get done, but we have the materials but don't have the labor, that they can perform this probably as well as anybody we can contract with.
I think that's a great idea.
However, that does go contradictory to an area that we don't have jurisdiction over, which would be Gen Ops, because they're the ones that would have to pick the architect as well as do the RFP. So we don't have control over that part.
And I have a question, does this include the outside ADA ramp,
During the Gen Ops meeting,
or is the sheriff going to pick that up?
during the Gen Ops meeting that was held, and to the email that went to Judge Blanton, County Mayor Isbell stated that for the ramp, he does have funds that was contingent upon ADA compliance, and he would be willing to use it. And so in the email that was sent to Judge Blanton, I asked for that to be put in
I
writing.
do not have anything in writing, but I'll contact Mayor Isabel tomorrow to get it in writing. The only thing I've asked for was the inside. I didn't ask for anything on the outside because
We can,
that's not my responsibility.
can you send an budget?
Okay.
And if the mayor's approved this, we'll move it to recovery court's line
He
item.
sent an email out saying that he would do that.
See if we can just get that squared away through a line item transfer.
Okay.
If everybody.
And I'll answer that in your email if I get a
Thank you.
chance to get it to you tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
Any more questions on that?
Be quiet now, thank you.
I'm sorry I didn't speak up late
Okay.
night.
I mean, it wasn't just you, it was several people in this room who knew that and didn't say anything. And that's
Well,
what kind of
yeah.
really bothered me, because I'm sitting here thinking, well, heck, we're gonna get money for 20 more years.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true.
I think there was so much well, we'll go, I'll talk about it. Next thing is status of Sumner Prevention Coalition project.
For the status of Summer Prevention Coalition, Finance is looking for a vote on whether or not to give the Prevention Coalition $100,000 to help them purchase the building and the land for the structure on Winchester Street, which they intend on also subdividing and giving a portion to Recovery Court not-for-profits. At this point in time, if this body does vote for it, it would be put into the FY 25-26 operating budget, and then nobody could access the funds until the budget is passed.
I have a vote to
I make a motion.
I second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Stevie?
This is the house, not the school,
Yeah,
right?
this is children's or people.
Okay, sorry, okay.
Yeah.
I get the addresses and
Okay, we'll go on to new business. Debt, direct appropriation request.
Okay, so right now you've had two requests. One is going to be stemming from the sheriff's office to purchase mail scanners as well as body scanners to detect drugs that are trying to come into the facility. Right now, the sheriff's office is looking at partnering with volunteer behavioral health. So that way, if anybody is bringing in contraband, they would be given the option to also seek some guidance and some counseling. This does not impact the judicial side, as they will still have to do their due diligence. This is to offer them assistance in order to become clean. Looking at it based upon conversations with Judge Kay, the majority of the people that are coming into the system still feel like they can still use the same amount of drugs, even though they have detoxed some, number one, so you do have some people that would overdose. Number two, regarding the mail system. So when I talked with Judge Kay and asked her about what is coming in through the mail system, she had alluded to what happened to her in the past, which was being an attorney, somebody had taken her letterhead as well as envelopes, soaked it into drugs, and had sent it through the postal system. And due to client attorney privilege at that point in time, the person was able to get the mail, stick it under their tongue, and actually get a high off of it. So the mail scanner would be pertinent to the sheriff's office. So I am asking if this body would entertain a direct appropriation request from the sheriff's office and volunteer behavioral health at our next meeting to request the funds for it.
I have a clarification.
Yes.
You said metal scanners and body scanners.
Mail scanner.
Mail.
Mail. Sorry, my
I read
southern
that
accent got in the
but you
way.
meant
Mail.
Okay, all right.
Do I have a motion
Do we, is that actionable right now? I thought it was, you said next meeting.
I'm asking for them to be able to present to you all next
Oh.
meeting.
Oh,
Motion to, okay. Second.
to? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 You had a second direct appropriation request. When talking to them, it's going to be less than $5,000 to $10,000, so they may be requesting that into a grant. As Commissioner Boyd, she is not aware of it at this point in time. I know she is passionate about the billboards and community outreach. And as some of you all have known, some of the not-for-profit organizations that don't have not-for-profit status cannot apply for our grants. They're wanting to put the word out about Celebrate Recovery, Recovery Fest, and a few other things that are going on. So the health department has said they would entertain partnering with them and try to submit a grant application. So at this point in time, that is being withdrawn as a direct appropriation request, and they will be coming back and submitting the grant application on it.
Okay. That's just an FYI.
That's an FYI.
Okay. Discussion of budget and direct appropriation requests.
Okay, so this, when you heard me talk about an accounting procedure, this is it. This does not impact Judge Blanton's request. You'll hear me talk about the $500,000, but it does not make it smaller. Looking at it, the top row in green, it says round 2 of opioid funding. Dates and finance, payment number 2 was received on 4/29/2024. We have to have it all committed by 2026. It has to be fully spent by 2028. The amount awarded to us was $891,525. Competitive cycle, we awarded $359. Potential commitment to recovery court is $500,000. So the amount remaining right now is $32. That's going to be offset below. Looking at it, what I'm requesting is I would like to take the $500,000 or the 532, switch it, that is remaining this time, switch it with the third check, which is in the pink. So that way, should you all award it to Sheriff Credit and Volunteer Behavioral Health, that will allow them to purchase everything and meet a deadline date. This gives Judge Blanton more time should anything happen that's unforeseen during the build out to continue to use the funds without us having to worry about the expiration date and me reporting to the state. So I'm just asking to swap the two.
Motion to swap these two.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Discussion of future meeting dates. It looks like we're going to meet in May.
So your meeting in May, if you all are wanting to, May would only consist of three things. Number one, recovery court. Number two, your bylaws. Number three, presentation from Sheriff Craddock and Volunteer Behavioral Health. You're looking at a total of right now about 45 minutes to an hour, and that is where we are. So time
Is
and
there
dates.
a push on it?
We have 3 of us here.
There is a small push on it because I'm needing to also slide it into the grant budget. I mean, to the operating budget.
What's your window?
My window right now is to try to get it done by mid-May if possible.
So we would need to meet like
Yeah.
the first week of May or the second part of the second week on the first half of that week.
What I can, oh, sorry.
Oh, 3 of us here are on budget. We have budget hearings the 30th and the 1st. And then I talked to Chairman Shoaf this morning. He said it'll probably be 2 weeks later for the round 2. So would that, which would put us in the 3rd week of May, about, so, oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks, Secretary.
I'm a visual learner, I gotta see it.
Maybe, what about Thursday the 8th? That's the 2nd Thursday in May.
That's fine.
That's a date I'm just gonna throw out there.
What I will tell you right now is, if you all cannot make it, if something happens, should another flood appear and my property next door gets flooded, this money is already in the budget. It is in non-allocated, meaning that it is in the budget. We would just have to formally request to transfer it to those entities. But everybody that's in there right now is, all the funds right now that we currently have been awarded by the state is in this budget. It's in non-allocated, and we have nothing in reserves in the budget or left. So once this money is gone, it's gone until April, where we hopefully will get that $591,000 check
Next April.
next April.
And then we don't meet for 9 months?
If I can help you through it, theoretically, yes. If I can manage it.
The Christmas party.
I was just, so are you saying we wouldn't need quorum for that meeting?
You would need a quorum to actually make a recommendation to award it to Sheriff's Department and Volunteer Behavioral Health.
So do we need to meet in May?
It would be highly recommended. That way it saves you money.
So
8th
I
at
would like
5:30.
it. Is that okay with you? Oh, I'm sorry, is that okay with
sorry.
you?
I'm Chairman, I'm like, what? Hey. You do that to me all the time. I'm for quick being nice.
It's 'cause you're so nice and quiet, Mary.
Okay, so 5:30 on May 8th.
I will not be here, but it sounds like we will have quorum.
Who will not be here? I'll be here. I'm pretty sure I don't have anything that day. No, I don't have anything. I don't want any doctor.
Yeah, they can.
That's a Thursday?
Remember we talked about it?
Yes.
I think I would.
I've had a lot of meetings.
So May 8th at 5:30? You guys cool with that? Okay, let's do that then. Now you can chat.
So just to give you a heads up about the May 8th, just like the Prevention Coalition, you will see something in the papers saying that we will be considering funding for volunteer behavioral health, because Sumner County does have the policy that says if we're giving money for a nonprofit, it does have to be advertised. So if anybody questions you, that is what it's stemming from.
And other than that,
I just have one question for the group. Last year, we had a little confusion with Drug Fest date. Do y'all have one? Y'all can give us the Drug Fest date. Maybe we can get it right this year.
Can I also get the rodeo information? I tried looking online, but
Rodeo is June 6th and 7th.
where is that?
Triple Creek Park,
Okay.
at the back of it. And then we do have, Recovery Fest is September 21st. And it'll be that afternoon from 2 to 5 p.m. It's a Sunday afternoon, so.
When will you start advertising the rodeo?
I just posted the event page on Facebook.
Got it.
2 or 3 days ago.
Okay. We just hadn't popped up with Google yet. When you were talking, I was trying to put it in my calendar. My kids love rodeo.
I was gonna say, do children get in free? I was
My
waiting.
kids love rodeo.
Okay, we have one more thing to do, and that's adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Thank you all for coming.